Morning team, Dave here from HWPO Fitness, and welcome to a special car edition of Dave's Thoughts. Just had my fourth session with the osteo, going into week 4 of treatment, and this week has been very bittersweet. I had 2 days this week where I woke up and thought that I could run a marathon. I had no pain, I felt amazing, vibes were so high. It's the first time I'd felt normal in the last 6 months, and it felt amazing, it felt so good. I woke up this morning in chronic pain, almost worse than what I was before I started treatment. So as you can imagine, I woke up in a pretty crappy mood. Went down that path of this is bullshit. Why me? You know, how long is this going to take? I'm spending all this money. Why isn't anything happening? And I caught myself in that moment and just had to stop and, you know, reflect on what's happened the last month and realize that the last 4 weeks has been minimal pain, with a couple of days of no pain, as opposed to the last 6 months of chronic pain every single day. So I pulled myself out of that hole pretty quickly, but what I find is that I'm becoming more and more obsessed with this journey that I'm on through this injury this time around. And I think the main reason for that is because I have much more clarity. I'm much more aware of what's happening inside my mind and my body at the moment. See, when I was younger and I had all these hip operations, I was 9, 10, 12 years old. And although I knew I was in pain, I didn't really have a great idea of what was going on. I knew I was having all these operations. I knew it sucked. I knew I was in pain. But I never really sat down with myself and had that deep conversation, that really, you know, digging deep and asking those really deep questions to myself. And I'm doing that on the daily, almost multiple times a day. I just got to stop and have a quick chat to myself and figure out where I'm at, what I'm doing, the direction that I'm heading, and it's just been fascinating, the emotions that I've been going through. And I have been trying really hard to not let it get me down, but you know, when you wake up and you're in pain, it's really hard to keep that level of happiness and that motivation up because you're in pain. It sucks. But I'm trying to use this. I'm going through this again, and I'm documenting all these things to try and give myself and everyone else a better understanding of how to get through situations like this. Because as I said to the osteo this morning, how many people out there are going through the same thing that I'm going through but choose not to do anything about it? And that's what I was doing for a long time. I was choosing to not go and get help. I just accepted that this chronic pain was something that I had to deal with for the rest of my life. And that sucks. No one should have to put up with pain like this. No one should have to go through emotions like that. My big question and philosophy that I'm going through at the moment is, what does it take for people to get to that stage where they want to take that step? I've taken the step so many times in my life now where it's really hard for me to come up with a step-by-step of how to take the step. I had to do it when I decided to lose weight. I had to do it when I wanted to quit smoking, when I wanted to quit alcohol. You know, now with dealing with this injury, I've had to accept that I'm not an elite athlete and that I need help to fix myself before I do any more damage to myself. And I just think, and I know there's more people like me out there, that there are millions of people who are going through the same thing. There are millions of people who wake up every day and just have the shits with themselves and have the shits with life, and they're struggling and they're in a really bad spot. And they're the people that I want to help. And that's why I'm documenting this journey that I'm going on at the moment, because I think I'm in a better position to translate all these emotions in my head and get them out there so people can understand it better. Because it's really hard to understand what's going on in someone else's head. I just think that I might be able to do it this time around. So I just felt compelled to share with you guys how I'm feeling. That's what this whole thing's about. I said it from the get-go. These videos might not always be sunshine and daisies, you know, but that's I'm in it. I'm in this game. I'm in this journey. I'm going to play the game, and I'm going to bring you guys, you know, hopefully some good content by the end of it. Hopefully I'll be able to get some good stuff out there by the time this is done. Like every session, I ask the question. I'm still on an exercise ban, no movement for the next 24 hours. Well, no movement, no strenuous activities. And then even after that, he wants me to limit walking, definitely no lifting. What's happened this time was, he believes, not 100% sure, but I've done a bit of driving lately. I've twisted my sacrum and I've twisted my pelvis again, the left side of my pelvis, really bad this time. It took him 45 minutes to work through to unlock it. And he believes that I might have done that doing exactly what I'm doing now, sitting. And I know sitting's the devil, but when you've got to drive around, you've got to get from A to B, it's really hard to do. I'm either laying down flat at home at the moment, watching docos and TV, or I'm standing up working on my laptop. There's no sitting. This is the only sitting I do, is when I've got to get from A to B. Getting in and out of the car, you know, the traditional way where you just swing the leg over, kick the leg over to get out, that might have locked the sacrum up. He's not 100% sure, but now I've got to go from throwing the leg over to just twisting the whole torso and getting out. Little things like that, which people just don't even think of, you know, but because I'm in such a bad spot and I'm so broken at the moment, something as small as getting out of the car can lock my sacrum up and can cause real damage. So it's just made me be so much more mindful of everything that's going on. It's like, oh shit, I'm sitting the wrong way, or I've been sitting for too long, I've got to get up, I've got to walk around. So that's another great lesson just there. Don't sit for too long, or always be moving, always stay mobile. Little things like that we'll pick up along the way. We'll get through this together, you and I. We're in it for the long haul, I told you that. So yeah, watch how I'm sitting this week. Still no exercise, but I've got my talk on tonight and I'm super pumped about that. I'm not sure if I'll throw this video up today, but I will throw it up at some stage, and I'll have more as it comes. You know, every session that I have with the osteo, I'm finding that it's like I'm paying this guy to sit down and just be my shrink for 45 minutes or an hour. Like we get pretty deep with what we talk about, and it's really cool. And that sparks all this thought processes in my head when I leave, and that's where I can come up with some of this creative juicy stuff, and I'm blogging it all when I get home. And you know, so lessons learned from today: take the good with the bad. Rehab does not just go from overnight. You don't just instantly, the body doesn't instantly get better. It takes time. So learn that it takes time, and everything takes time, guys. We know that. We're not going to get six-pack abs in overnight from doing 20 crunches. You know, we're not going to be able to bench press 100 kilos when we can only lift the bar overnight. Things take time. And like everything else, recovery takes time. I've got to be patient, and I'm not a very patient person. I want shit to happen now, so I've just got to, again, collect myself, find myself, catch that thought process, that negativity, dispel it, and move on. Just try and keep the positive vibes going, and just, you know, be as positive as I can be. Dave's thoughts, car version. More good stuff coming soon. I'll keep you updated about the talk tonight. You know I will. I'll post about that in Mecca. And if this doesn't air for a couple of weeks, I love you all. Have a banger of a day. Sun's back out. No rain. Life is good. Get out there and kick ass. HWPO, baby. See you guys.